Welcome to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast, a show chocked full of strategies for scaling your speaking business. Now here's your host, coach to the industry's superstars, Jane Atkinson.
Well, welcome everyone to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. Today we are talking about something that needs attention right now. We're talking about kindness, and actually kindness as a strategy in your business. And there's no better person to speak on this topic than the amazing Shola Richards. Welcome back, Shola.
Oh my gosh, Jane Atkinson, dear friend, such a pleasure. It's like I'm here with a legend. You don't understand. I
Oh,
started my
come
career.
on.
I know I mentioned this probably in the first episode that we had, but I started my speaking career by listening to this very podcast, learning how to become a speaker. So to be not only invited once, but twice back to the podcast that launched my career is just, it's bananas. So I'm very, very grateful.
Well, I'm feeling the need to infuse some kindness into our listeners, to give them something hopeful and good and kind. Tell everybody, if in case they missed that first podcast, and you can, by the way, go to speakerlauncher.com, click on the podcast and search Shola, Shola, and you will find the first one as well. But give everybody a snapshot of your speaking business today. How many years have you been in the biz now?
Yeah, so I started full time in 2018. I quit my corporate job in
Okay.
2018, August 17th. Not like I'm keeping track of the date.
But nobody's
August,
counting.
I know. I'm pretty sure it was a Friday. August 17th, 2018 is when I quit my job. And
Okay.
that was, so I've been doing this for, gosh, that would be what, 7 years
7
mathematically?
years.
Almost 7 years.
That's-
Yeah. So it's been
that's-
great. Long story short, the snapshot is that I started from zero, like most speakers do. And then I've now built this to a 7-figure a year speaking business, which is pretty cool.
You
And
know,
unexpected, because people are like, oh, I knew it all along. I mean, I don't know. I didn't. I thought it was
oh,
possible,
I
but
totally saw it happening
that's
for you
hilarious because
way back when. I really could have predicted that, and I don't think it would have been a stretch at all because I could just see, a part of it, I think, is your charisma on stage.
geez.
You really do walk this talk. And so let's go back to what prompted you into speaking about kindness in the first place. You had some sort of soul-sucking corporate job.
Yeah, I did. And so really soul sucking. And to be clear, the job wasn't the one that I left. It was the one before
Yes,
that. The one I
it
left
was
was great.
before.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
the one that before that, it was awful, really toxic workplace, and they just made it clear that I wasn't welcome there. They did all sorts of things. It was really steeped in workplace bullying, which was really what I wanted to eradicate from this.
Okay.
But long story short, I fell into a deep depression. And I'm not using that term euphemistically. I mean like a deep clinical depression. And one morning while going to this toxic job, I attempted to take my own life. And thankfully, I'm still here. But that was a really dark moment. And I decided from that point on that I have to do something to make this better. And I have no skills or no talent. I just love people. So I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this. And I dove in. This was 20 years ago, by the way. So over 20 years ago. So I started writing because I'm a writer, and I'm like, maybe I'll just share my stuff online on a blog, and I did. And then, as I say, the rest is history. Kind of grew the business from there.
Well, let me just say on behalf of all of our listeners and all of the people who you have touched over the past 7 years, we're so happy you're still here.
Oh my gosh, Gene,
We're
thank you.
so happy you're still here. You're just such a bright light in this world. I could cry just thinking about it.
Appreciate
And
you.
I could also cry, um, politically speaking. I feel as though kindness is under fire. DEI is under fire. All of the things that perhaps you've been fighting these past 20 years for, bullying is somehow become the norm. And we won't go deeply down any political roads, but I feel like it has to be said. And if you're not a fan of kindness, then you're probably not listening to this show anyway.
This is probably that, definitely not this episode.
It's right in the title. Skip.
Exactly.
So I'm going to assume that we have people who are fans of kindness listening today. Kindness is a top-down approach. What how are you feeling right now with, let's say, the behavioral style of the leader of America? I live in Canada. We just had an election yesterday. We actually have a new leader who, we'll see.
Mm.
He's yet to be determined. Um, how are you feeling? Do you feel this like, oh,
Yeah, there's a huge angst that I feel around the energy that is coming these days. And it's almost feels like it's almost like performative unkindness. Is it, you know what I mean? It's like going so far, pushing it to a far extreme. So, regardless of one's political ideology, the idea is that kindness should not be controversial. It should be pretty straightforward. It's how we demonstrate that we genuinely care about other human beings. And it's a sign of high intelligence, not just emotional intelligence, mind you. We are wired as human beings to be afraid and fearful of things that do not look like us or seem like us. So, to be able to overcome our evolutionary wiring, to be like, hey, this person doesn't look like me, but you know what? Like, this person's still deserving of kindness. That
yeah.
is an advanced skill. And right now, we're so into these weird tribal moments where we got to stay with people who look like us, pray like us, vote like us.
Mm.
And I am trying to start the movement of being like, listen, we have to be able to figure out how to work together. We're going to be sharing the world with people who don't look like you, certainly our country. So
Yes.
let's take this energy and try to do something with it. And that's the work that I'm really trying to push going forward.
Mm. I love that so much. What would be your main title that keeps getting booked for big corporate events? What's the title of that keynote?
Yeah, so gosh, it's funny because there's two that are really they're kind
Okay,
of
tell
neck
me
and
both.
neck. Well, the one that really is my signature keynote is the courage to go together. And because what we have to do is go together. That's a real thing. I mean, I think we're now in a place where folks are realizing the futility, for lack of a better way of putting it, of thinking like, you know what? I don't like this person, so I'm just going to put them over here and I'm going to go over here. Well, whether it's the annoying guy in accounting who keeps CCing the leadership on every single email, or your
Mm.
neighbor who has a flag of the candidate that you hate flying in their yard, we're just still going to have to figure out how to go together, right? And so the challenge I'm putting in front of people is to really change how they think, how they act, and how they speak so that they can really create connection instead of division. And you're either, this sounds kind of like binary, but maybe it is. I do believe this. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
So why not take the action to build a kinder world? If not for you, then for future generations. Can we at least have that motivation for crying out loud? I
Yeah.
just feel like there's a quote that drives my work, and I love this, Jane. It's very simple from a guy named Brennan Manning. He said, in every encounter, we are either giving life or we are draining it. There is
Uh,
no neutral exchange. And I think about every
mm.
single day, every interaction, we can be kind, and we should.
And and so you're giving me some ideas. I have some problem children that are my neighbors up north. The cottage. The cottage should be this very beautiful, relaxing place, right?
Right. Yeah.
And there are people who say things that I cringe at. And so I'm going to remember this quote. Say it again. In every encounter, you're either
Giving life or
giving
you are
life
draining it.
or draining
There's
it.
no neutral exchange. It's from a man named Brennan Manning. That is his quote. It's my
Uh,
all-time favorite.
I am digging that quote. And I can only be responsible for myself.
Correct.
I can show up and be kind. I can
And it
do
doesn't
that.
cost you anything either. It's
I
free.
can do that. And I would also like to reserve the right to leave when I want to.
As well, but that's an act of kindness, Gene. I think that's one of
If
the things
I'm
that people
full.
think. Yes.
Yes, yes. Actually, let's define kind because I think people get it mixed up. Tell
Yeah. Can we
me
do
what your
that?
definition of kind is.
So, kindness is demonstrating through your actions that you genuinely care about another human being. And it's simple, it's so simple. And I want to juxtapose that against niceness if I can.
Being
So,
nice.
yeah, so a lot of people think nice is what we're going for here. Nice by definition means being polite and agreeable. And
Hmm.
hopefully we can both agree that's a super low bar, right?
And I'm just not a nice person. Like that doesn't, I have a really hard time. I wear my emotions on my sleeve a little
Same.
bit.
That's why we love each other so much. We're like the same. Exactly.
I would
Yes.
not say that if you asked 10 people who knew me, they'd say, oh, she's so nice. It's just not even the vibe I'm going
Me
for.
neither.
Kindness, however, I mean, I strive for it. I'm not always there. I mean, we all have had bad days where
Mhm.
we speak poorly to somebody that we really shouldn't have, or,
Sure.
they're just doing their job and we express frustration. I don't think there's that many people who are perfect human beings in that regard.
No.
I want to back up to something. The courage to go together is one speech. What's the second one?
Oh, unstoppable resilience. So
Unstoppable.
I'm kind of a researcher, a little bit of a nerd. So this isn't a, if you're watching on YouTube, this isn't a virtual background. These are legitimate books behind me that I read.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so resilience is often equated with like weird, almost borderline toxic masculinity energy. Like, you suck it up, buttercup, quit being a baby, speaking's hard for
Okay.
everybody. Like that's not resilience. Like that is a path
Okay.
to a mental breakdown. So for me, really thoughtful ideas around resilience that are not common, but also super effective in
Ooh,
terms of making sure that we show up as our best selves.
I really would like to hear. Can you give me like two uncommon
Oh,
ideas
sure. There's so
around
many. I mean, God,
resilience? Something.
I'll give you one. I'll give you
Okay.
many. I'll give you as many as you want, actually. So I'll give you one that I find to be pretty effective that I use on myself is the 6 and 6 rule. It's very simple. So if you think about something that you're worried about right now, which shouldn't be very hard based on the state of the
No.
world, it's like
No.
just ask yourself a very simple question. Is what I'm thinking about right now, will this likely be a big deal 6 months from now? And if the answer is no, then do not give yourself any more than 6 minutes of your time to think about it. This is very important because what we do is we give our fullest energy to stuff that just doesn't matter 6 months from now. I spilled something on myself. I forgot a line in my talk. Oh my gosh, my connecting flight's 15 minutes late. All these different things that don't matter 6 months from now. And then if we focus on it, we still should have time to emote. Give yourself 6 minutes. But the thing that's also important is if what you're worrying about could likely be a big deal 6 months from now, then focus your energy on that, not the stuff that's the 6 minute time you get rid of that's not going to
Okay.
matter 6 months from now, because our energy and our time is finite. And part of being resilient requires us to give our energy and direct it where it really needs to go.
That's 6 and 6. That is a golden rule. Thank you very much. Do you want to give us one more?
Yeah, sure. I call it another one I use is fountain versus drain is very simple. Just do a real quick inventory of the things that fill you up like a fountain and the things that drain you, obviously like a drain. And one example, two easy examples of this that really resilient people do. One is that they do not watch cable news. And this is a big thing, right? Because cable news is known to do one of two things, right? To keep you on, they call it angertainment for a reason. They put you
Mhm.
on outrage overload or anxiety overload. So if you're watching this consistently, cortisol is going through your veins, your sympathetic nervous system's on overload.
Mhm.
So I tell people to scan headlines once a day from their favorite news site. Second thing is also on the spout versus drain stuff, social media. I mean, Gene, let's be real. If you are, if you
Yes.
really want to be you're like, I need to find a place where I can feel the goodness of humanity. Is the first place you're going to social media? Like, of course not. Yet we spend something crazy 2 hours and 24 minutes a day on average on social media. That's insane. That's 876 hours a year. So we're doing things to, and I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up really quickly and wrapping this up, is
Sure.
that whatever problem we're dealing with, we have the capacity to make this problem so much worse. And people don't realize that by watching a lot of news and excessive time on social media can actually make our problems worse. So we want to be resilient. Stop making sure you're hurting yourself by having the call come from inside the house.
Mm. Okay, so we can definitely be setting a timer when we go on. Let's say we have to do it for our
Sure, I have to for business. I mean, I'm not,
yourself a 2 minute
yeah,
timer, a 2 minute timer, a 5 minute timer, whatever you decide. I think that is a very healthy way. I've actually gotten into some pretty good social media habits, and I will back out if there's an election on or something like that. I will
smart.
So I'll go radio silent for a
Don't
little
go in the
while.
comment section, Jane. Stay away.
Oh,
It's
it's
not
so
worth
bad.
it. It's
So
not worth
bad.
it.
Okay, so 6 and 6 and fountain versus drain.
Hmm.
Loving the lingo, and I think I see why. You are, as a researcher, you've created all these ultra cool ideas, which your
Thanks.
clients are clinging on to clearly, and this is what keeps them asking you back.
Fingers
So,
crossed for now.
okay, so for speakers.
Yeah.
Someone use kindness as a strategic advantage in their business.
Mm.
Tell me how.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So I think kindness is one of the most powerful strategies if you want to grow your speaking business. The one
Mhm.
thing that I'm known for in the speaking circuit is being the easiest speaker on the circuit to work with. Like and I take that with so much pride. There's so
Yes.
many things that a lot of speakers don't do that could literally change your practice because you want to be good on stage. You can't be good on stage unless you're good off stage. And a couple ways to be good off stage from a practical perspective is when you travel to an event, when you land in said city for the event, text the meeting planner, event planner, like, hey, just want to let you know, Jane, I just arrived, head to the hotel now, can't wait to see you. When someone's asking you for your deck, hand the deck to them a week in advance. Make sure if there's fonts that are fancy, have the fonts that you need, and
Mhm.
don't do this last minute thing. I decided that I wanted to add this video into the. Really? Like, think about the AV
Yeah.
team. And on that note, the AV team who allows you to sound and look good while you're on stage, treat them with the proper respect. My
Yes.
goodness, I've seen the most horrific diva-ish behaviors from other speakers. That's like you're not Beyonce. We're just
Mhm.
speakers, y'all. Like, come on, like let's dial it back and treat these people with respect. Show up
Yes.
on time for your call. All these simple things that we can do that will allow people to be like, work with him, work with her, work with this person because they're so easy to work with. And
Ah.
honestly, that has helped to elevate my career probably as much as being good on stages.
Ah. And these are people who are there to make you look good, but also your job is to make them look good.
Amen,
And
Jane
and you are
Atkinson.
just a teeny tiny little cog in their giant meeting wheel. Remember your place
Yes.
as the teeny tiny cog, and don't be a diva.
Yeah,
I
and
I
you
would
keep on
say,
time too. Don't go over your time because that's also a jerk
uh
move.
that's a really I wouldn't say it's an unkind thing to do, but it's definitely an unconscious thing to do. It's not something you would ever do intentionally, because that may be your presentation may be the best presentation they've ever heard, but that decision maker will only remember that you went over.
Facts.
And they share it
They
with other
talk a lot.
people. They
They
talk a
do.
lot with each other, and
They
so you
do.
don't want to get a reputation for somebody who is basically just thinking that their ideas are more important than everything else.
That is 100% correct.
Yes. Okay, so talk about how you're feeling. Your This idea of kindness, the idea of the courage to go together, that falls under DEI. And tell me what you're feeling in terms of, is it positive or is it negative? I'm thinking there's companies that are digging in and saying, hell yes, we're doing this. And I'm thinking there are other companies who are making their decisions based on fear. What are you seeing? What's the calendar resulting thing that you're seeing in the last few months?
Yeah, well, two things. So one, the Courage to Go Together is not a DEI talk. And so that's
Okay.
done intentionally because it's a leadership talk, really. It's a lot talk about bringing civility to the workplace. However, to your point, I do
Mhm.
talk about DEI addition to that talk. And I have a
Okay.
talk based on that specific topic. Keeping it real, because that's what we're here, is that DEI topics have been really vilified and really misrepresented as what they are. And really, it's not
Yes.
about the wild straw man arguments that folks are making up about DEI.
Mhm.
But so to be honest, I don't talk about DEI as much as I used to because a lot of folks, for whatever reason, are not bringing in speakers to talk about that. But what I'm
Mhm.
doing instead are the core ideas around DEI, like just basic respect, kindness for people who maybe don't look like us, pray like us, or what have you. That's a core of anyone's talk. I don't, whether you're talking about AI or you're talking about future of work or you're talking about change management, the
Mhm.
ability to make sure that people work well together, irrespective of differences, is critical to the work. So the
Yes.
Courage to Go Together is more focused on how we can just show up and do our best work together. When folks do call me in for DEI talks, and quite frankly, they still do, it is lasered in on how we can actually use this work, elevate this work, perhaps transform this work in this new kind of energy that we're in, so we can still continue to show up for others. I mean, we can't just stop. The work doesn't end. It's not like people are not going to care about diversity, equity, inclusion because people said we should. I mean, the reality is people are going to care about this forever. It's going to live long past me and everyone listening to this podcast episode. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably right now a fraction of my work, a smaller fraction. The larger work is around civility and kindness and really showing up for each other in any way that we can.
Okay. Well, I feel like those culture conversations are so important. And I talk a little bit about bullying and how has been your path in trying to, get rid of more and more bullying in the workplace.
It's interesting because with bullying, especially workplace bullying, it's a self-awareness issue, really. I mean, I think I've been doing this work now, I mean, ever since my horrific suicide attempt thing 20 plus years ago. I've
Mhm.
been really fascinated with this stuff, but even in the 8 years that I've been as a keynote speaker, professional speaker, and I've been working as a consultant as well, one thing that I've found, or I have not yet run into a bully who has readily admitted to being one. They don't have the self-awareness, right? So they're like, I went to a talk, Jane, true story, and I was giving a talk, and it was for an organization, and they picked out like this person is the problem. This person is very abusive to their staff and just very rude and this, that, and the other. And they're going to be sitting here. So really, hopefully you can give me something that can help this person. So I have a slide around behaviors to avoid that are really deeply toxic behaviors. And this person sitting in the audience, like, yeah, these
Yeah.
behaviors are terrible. Anyone that would do this here needs to stop right now. We're all like, what?
What?
Are you kidding me? Like, it's like
So,
we're all, and everyone is looking, their jaw is like scraping the ground. But mine wasn't scraping the ground because this is how this works. If they had the self awareness, one would assume that they'd be self aware to realize that their behaviors are hurting and harming other people, but they don't have that level of, I guess, sophistication emotionally to be able to understand that. So to answer your question more directly, it's an ongoing battle because if you think about how this works when you're getting hired to speak for organizations, oftentimes senior leaders are the ones who bring you in. Now, let's say, for example, the senior leader is the one who's the problem. And
yes.
now I am asked to be able to deliver a talk, and everyone's sitting there rolling their eyes because the person who brought me in is the
Yeah.
actual problem. This becomes a very awkward place to be. So it's slow moving. But since I'm an outside speaker, I'm more willing, and we kind of talked about this kind of before the podcast, Jane. If one of the biggest things I think we can do in this day and age is to stand up to unkindness. So I can tell someone like, hey, I
Mm,
just want to give you some feedback that you may not be aware of. Some of the behaviors that we've seen that I've heard are concerning. And I'll be specific about what I've said, what I've
yes.
seen or heard. I just want you to
Yes.
be aware of this because I don't work for you, but I want to make sure that you're aware of it because the people who do work for you want to do their best work. And I want to make sure that I don't think you're the type of person who would do these type of things intentionally. I say
Right.
that maybe they are, but like, so since I just want to make sure that you're aware of it because you're a really bright person, I want to make sure that you continue to lead in the best way possible. But my job is to stand up to unkindness and not just laugh it off and pretend it's not my problem. I think we're past that now in 2025. This is
Mhm.
everyone's fight. And so if I'm going to walk away and pretend to be neutral, neutrality is a myth. If you see unkindness and you choose to do nothing about it, you're not neutral. You are literally choosing the side of unkindness. And that's how I look at it every single day of my life.
Yes. That's such a good message to hear. What is the most recent book? Let's put in a plug for one of your books. Does it go
Ooh,
together?
no, my most recent book is Civil Unity, The Radical Path to Transform Our Discourse, Our Lives, and Our World.
Ooh, that's so good. Say the whole thing again.
Oh, I would love to. It's Civil Unity, The Radical Path to Transform Our Discourse, Our Lives, and Our World. And if you're on
Oh,
YouTube, oh,
so good. That
Oh.
is awesome. Okay. And where can people get that? I'm assuming all the regular channels
Yes, anywhere where fine books are sold.
where fine
And
books are
I
sold.
don't know why I said
Not
fine
bad
books.
books, just fine books.
Right. I know when I grew up, like I would hear that on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, where fine books are sold.
Where
Also,
fine.
too, and really cool. Now, I don't know if I told you this, Jane. I'm a podcaster now. So yeah,
Ooh.
it just literally launched just like a week before recording this particular episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called the Kindness Extremist Podcast. Yes, it's a solo podcast too. So it's just me giving 3 practical tools on how to make the world a kinder place in 30 minutes or less every episode.
So it's just you. You're not interviewing other
Nope,
people. It's just
just
bang,
me.
bang, bang.
Yeah, if I can
Sweet.
keep your attention for 60 minutes on stage, I better be able to do it for 30 minutes on a mic. So
I
fingers
think you
crossed.
can. And I am going to tune in and
Please
make
do.
sure I subscribe to that podcast. That is, congratulations, Shola.
Thanks, Jane. You're my
Congratulations
motivation. So I
on,
mean, heck, you
oh,
did it.
congratulations on all of your success. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Tell everybody if they want to hook up with you online somewhere. What's your favorite platform to do so on?
Unquestionably, my favorite spot is LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. So I
Okay.
think if you're speaking for real, you got to be on LinkedIn to have a presence. So
Yeah.
for sure. But you can always go to sholarichards.com if you want to find me there and contact me.
Okay.
That's an easy way to get all my socials.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for bringing something kind and beautiful to the Wealthy Speaker podcast. I appreciate you so much, Shola.
I appreciate you more, Jane Atkinson.
And for those of you who are listening in, hey, if you've appreciated this podcast, please let us know somehow. Make a comment when we post it or shoot me a line, jane@speakerlauncher.com. I want to hear your feedback, please. And with that, we're going to say, see you soon, Wealthy Speakers. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. If you need help scaling your speaking business, head over to speakerlauncher.com and chat with us.